Hey there, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Welcome back to Coins Action. Today, we're counting down the top 3 most valuable and sought-after Washington quarter dollar coins. From rare mint marks to unique errors, these coins are sure to impress. So, let's get started. First up, the 1969 Washington quarter dollar without mint mark. If you're a coin collector or investor, you'll want to stick around because this coin may not immediately seem extraordinary, but it's packed with a lot more history and potential than meets the eye. Let's start with some basic background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. It has been one of the most widely circulated and recognizable coins in American history. However, despite its long production run, certain years and varieties can command significant premiums, and the 1969 Washington quarter, though not necessarily rare in terms of mintage, has some intriguing aspects that make it highly desirable among collectors. The 1969 Washington quarter without a mint mark is part of the standard series minted in Philadelphia. Now, typically, quarters produced in Philadelphia before 1980 didn't feature a mint mark, so this is not unusual in that sense. But let's focus on why this specific coin, in fine condition, might be worth more than you'd expect. In terms of mintage, the 1969 Washington quarter has a total of 276 million coins minted at the Philadelphia Mint. This is a large number, meaning that there are many available in circulation. So, what makes it stand out to collectors? It's all about the condition and the subtle details that separate one coin from another. When we look at a fine condition coin, we're talking about a piece that has been used but still shows some distinct features. Fine condition coins show noticeable wear, but the features of the coin are still clear. On this 1969 Washington quarter, you'll notice the profile of George Washington, the details in his hair, the sharpness of the word Liberty, and the date. The eagle on the reverse side still shows enough detail in the feathers, wings, and claws to make it an appealing piece to collectors. Now, let's talk about the market value. For a 1969 Washington quarter without a mint mark in fine condition, the value will typically range between $700 to $1,200. While that's not a huge sum by itself, there's potential for a more significant value if the coin has certain characteristics that set it apart from others, such as being in better-than-average condition or having some form of error. This brings us to a critical point for collectors to watch for. The Washington quarters from the 1960s, while not rare in terms of mintage, are often subject to certain errors or varieties that can significantly raise their value. For example, in some cases, you may come across a 1969 Washington quarter with a misstruck design, where the coin has an off-center strike, doubling of letters, or even a die crack. These are the kinds of things that are considered by collectors and can greatly increase the coin's worth. Though these errors are not always easy to spot, an off-center strike or die crack can easily bump the value of your 1969 Washington quarter into the $40,000 to $50,000 range, a value you certainly wouldn't expect from a standard coin, but one that is very real for the rarer examples. For a collector who is still building a Washington quarter collection, the 1969 Washington quarter in fine condition is an excellent choice. Its relatively low value, compared to other rarer Washington quarters, makes it an accessible addition to your collection, yet it's a coin with historical significance. The 1960s were a time of significant change in America, and coins like the 1969 quarter carry with them a tangible link to that era. Also worth noting is that the market for Washington quarters has been steadily growing. The allure of silver coins has always been a part of the numismatic world, and the Washington quarter, especially those minted before 1965, are frequently sought after by silver enthusiasts. While the 1969 quarter is made of clad copper nickel, it remains an integral part of the larger Washington quarter set. So, while it may seem like a relatively common coin, the 1969 Washington quarter in fine condition still holds its place in numismatic history. If you happen to stumble upon one in a well-maintained state, with perhaps there was an error generating a response. Next up, the 1972 Washington quarter dollar. You might have one of these hidden in your collection, but did you know that this silver coin, despite its relatively recent minting, can fetch a big value in today's market? Stick around as we explore its rarity, history, and how much it's worth. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more coin-related content. Now, let's jump right into it. First, let's take a look at this coin. The 1972 Washington quarter features a striking design with George Washington's profile on the obverse side, surrounded by the words Liberty and In God We Trust. The reverse side features an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch with the words United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and quarter dollar. Minted in 1972, the Washington quarter series is well known to collectors, but what sets the 1972 coin apart? Well, the main factor here is the coin's condition, as well as its rarity. Let's break it down. One of the key things that make the 1972 Washington quarter stand out is its silver content. Now, most quarters produced after 1964 were made with a copper-nickel composition, but if you dig through your change jar or old rolls of quarters, you'll find that coins minted prior to 1965 contain 90% silver. And guess what? The 1972 quarter. It's not one of those silver coins. It's actually made with a copper-nickel blend. So, while it's not made of, it's still valuable. So, the 1972 quarter doesn't qualify as a silver quarter. However, the absence of a mint mark on this coin makes it intriguing. The 1972 Washington quarter, without a mint mark, was minted in Philadelphia. This absence can make the coin more desirable for certain collectors. Now, let's talk about condition. This is where the value really starts to ramp up. The very good condition is classified by the level of wear on the coin. You'll notice that the details are still visible, but the coin will have some noticeable wear along the edges, on Washington's face, and in the lettering. In very good condition, this 1972 Washington quarter is not as perfect as a pristine, uncirculated one, but it's still in decent shape for its age. So, how much is this coin worth? Well, it all depends on the market that in today's market. A 1972 Washington quarter, in very good condition, typically ranges in value from $350,000, but why is this? The key reason is that this coin is sought after by collectors due to its historical significance and relatively low mintage compared to other years. Though this coin doesn't carry the hefty price tag that some other rare quarters do, its value can increase if it's part of a well-maintained collection. If you were to find one in better condition, say extra fine or uncirculated, you could expect to see the value climb significantly higher. So, why do collectors care so much about these coins? Well, the 1972 Washington quarter is part of a long tradition of U.S. coinage, and every coin from a different year tells a unique story. Even without the mint mark, these quarters are an essential part of American numismatic history. Plus, they can be the key to completing a collection, especially for those collecting by year or design. For some collectors, owning one of these coins is all about connecting with American history and adding to their portfolio of rare coins. And even though the 1972 Washington quarter may not be silver, its rarity and historical significance make it a great find. So, if you come across a 1972 Washington quarter in very good condition, don't just toss it into a jar. Take a moment to inspect it, because it could have more value than you realize. While it's silver, the rarity and condition can still make it an interesting piece to add to your collection. Next up, the Washington quarter from 1967. You may be surprised to learn that this coin, often overlooked, holds some serious market value in today's collector's market. If you're a numismatist or just a casual collector, stick around as we explore the history, characteristics, and the remarkable value of this silver beauty in very good condition. Let's start by looking at the coin itself. The 1967 Washington quarter, like many of its counterparts, is made of 90% silver and 10% copper. This coin is part of the U.S. Mint Standard Quarter Series, featuring the iconic image of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan. On the obverse, we see George Washington's left-facing profile, facing the words Liberty above and In God We Trust beneath. Around the edge, you'll find the year 1967, the reverse showcases an eagle perched with wings spread wide, surrounded by the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. Now, let's talk about the 1967 quarter's composition. 90% silver, this coin holds intrinsic value beyond its face value. $220,000 silver prices fluctuate, but even in today's market, the silver content alone gives this coin a baseline value that's higher than many other quarters. As of recent estimates, silver prices hover around $530,000 per ounce. With each 1967 Washington quarter containing roughly 0.1808 ounces of silver, the melt value of this coin is around $240,000 in terms of silver content alone. However, this isn't the full story. The real value comes from its rarity, condition, and collector demand. In very good condition, this coin is defined by where that's visible but still maintains recognizable features. For collectors, finding a Washington quarter from 1967 in very good condition is a bit rarer than you might think. The coin will show some moderate wear, such as slight smoothing on the hair and features of Washington's profile, but the details are still visible. So, what makes this specific coin so valuable? The 1967 Washington quarter, despite being produced in large numbers, over 400 million coins were minted, has a certain appeal among collectors because of its silver content and historical context. The fact that it's from the mid-1960s, right before the U.S. Mint stopped producing silver coins for circulation in 1965 makes it a piece of silver coinage history. Silver quarters from the 1960s, especially those minted before the 1965 change to clad coinage, are highly sought after for their metallic value, rarity, and as part of a complete collection of U.S. silver coins. Now, let's talk about the value in today's market. While the melt value for the 1967 Washington quarter hovers around $3 million based on silver prices, in very good condition, the coin can command higher premiums. Depending on demand, collectors often pay anywhere from $6.5 million for a coin in this condition. For quarters in better condition, such as fine or extra fine, prices can rise significantly, with some auctions reaching upwards of $5.2 million. But keep in mind, the value of these coins can vary based on factors like the location of the sale, the current silver market, and how much collectors are willing to pay for this particular year and minting. Grading plays a crucial role in determining value. The American Numismatic Association uses a grading scale ranging from poor to mint state. A 1967 Washington quarter in very good condition falls toward the middle of this scale, with clearly legible features but some surface wear.